All right. Oli's second question is Valverde getting a run on the right of midfield recently got me thinking we have a lot of players for the right on the books, but not an automatic starter level player yet. I would like to see us go for Sancho, but there will be bigger priorities like a center back and the yearly flirt with Mbappe. So who out of the Asensio, Rodrygo, Brahim, Kubo group would you keep and who would you sell or loan, presuming there were decent enough offers? I like the idea of bringing Brahim back and sending Rodrygo out on loan. Just want to know what you guys thought. Thanks.
Well, I love the idea Oli mentions as well. I feel like many fans would perceive the move like Rodrigo would be taking a step back in his career, but I feel like he needs him. I feel like he needs it. Sorry, I feel like Rodrigo needs a chance to make an impact consistently, and he's probably not going to get that chance in Real Madrid next season either. So I feel like maybe he needs to take a step back from all the pressure and the expectations he built during his first season as a Real Madrid player, and maybe send him on obviously a right. You have to make it right and find a right club for him where he's going to get consistent minutes, not the loan deal you actually found for a player like Raniero, for example. You obviously need to find the right deal for him. And then I would also like to keep Brahim next year. I feel like he's done enough for Milan to at least give him a chance to stay in the roster for next season. I'm not saying that he should be the undisputed starter on the right wing. I'm not saying that at all, but at least give him the chance to play here and there. I feel like he's done enough to earn that kind of trust from whoever Real Madrid's next coach is. Even if Zidane stays, I feel like Brian has done enough to at least give him a chance to compete for the spot on the right wing.
I've been super impressed with Brahim. He has climbed the ladder of where I rank him among all the loanees. And I remember when we had these discussions, when we first signed Brahim, I saw him as a superfluous piece that like we have too many of the same type young player on this position. I don't see where this goes. And then I think we signed Kubo after him, and there you stockpile these players. And I thought like out of the entire bunch, he was the one I felt like wouldn't make it. I've changed my mind on him. I've been really impressed with him at Milan. And this is the thing. I was really impressed with him at Real Madrid too. Anytime he played,
Exactly.
he was good.
Exactly.
And I came away thinking from those cameos that I really like this player. I think he's going to succeed somewhere. I don't think it's here because there's too much competition. I think when you kind of see this play out, you might see him rising to the top because he might be one of the better players, if not the best. Like right now, Kubo unfortunately is dead last in that group.
Oh no. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And not he doesn't have a chance to stay in Real Madrid next season. Yeah.
Next season for sure, no.
And also, Kiyan, about Brahim,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned the fact that you've been impressed with what he did for Real Madrid when given the chance.
Yes.
I cannot say the same about Rodrygo, to be honest. So he has not been as impressive as Brahim was
Hot and cold
for
yeah.
Real Madrid every single time. I know obviously he's had his moments, and Real Madrid wouldn't have made it to the semifinals without his contribution against Inter. That's for sure. I'm not saying that he's been mediocre every time, but unlike Brahim, who every time he was given 10, 15, 5 minutes here and there, he left you impressed in what he did on the pitch. And again, with Milan, it's happened pretty much the same thing. He wasn't an undisputed starter for the Italian side for the first half of the season or so, and in the end, not only he's played crucial minutes, but he's also made a big impact for them. And I feel like he has an opening. The thing about it is he has an opening in Real Madrid's right wing, even if Real Madrid actually sign Mbappe, because Mbappe's favorite position is not on the right wing. So I feel like Brahim has an opening to succeed and make an impact for Real Madrid, because Asensio has not risen to the occasion, and obviously Vinicius is not comfortable there, and so Brahim has an opening to play. He's comfortable there on the right wing, and that's mainly why I was so surprised about Real Madrid's decision to send him on loan, because to out of all the players Real Madrid had on the roster, I feel like Brahim was the one and only player who is actually natural and 100% comfortable on the right wing. So I feel like he has an opening to make an impression there.
The other thing to add about Brahim, not to overhype him too much, like I have with other young players, but the other thing I'll add about him is that he's actually versatile enough, because Pioli has put him in the 10 spot this season a lot in the middle, and he's been awesome in that role too. So he's even more versatile than just playing the right wing.
Yeah, and he's a creator as well. He knows how to dribble. His pass is good. His finishing skills is good. So he will help Real Madrid a lot. Yeah, and he defends.
He works hard
defensively, exactly. So he's definitely one player who would fit Real Madrid's and solve at least partially some of Real Madrid's struggles this season. I feel like his playing style shoots perfectly what Real Madrid need from a right winger right now. So I would be very surprised if Real Madrid actually agreed to extend his loan deal in Milan, because I feel like he could actually play an impact and make an impact right now.
So there are a couple other names here I just want to throw at you and to Oli and to all the listeners that I think. So this first one is, I think once you start to declutter this position a little bit and you start to have to make decisions and make those hard decisions of who you would sell on loan and who you would keep, I think one name that's going to rise is Sergio Arribas. And he actually reminds me of Brahim in a lot of ways, that he works super hard.
Similar player, yeah.
He works really hard off the ball, on the ball, and he can do things with the ball at his feet. He just creates. He's such a good creator. I think that's I feel like the timeline might suit him in some ways, because I think he's not going to come up next season, although who knows. But he's probably not going to come up next season, probably going to go on a loan. But he's going to be similar to Miguel Gutierrez in the sense that those players might win because of the timeline. So with Miguel Gutierrez, Reguilón didn't fit that timeline because he overlapped with Marcelo and Mendy. Yeah. Miguel Gutierrez might just by chance come out in a time where Marcelo's gone, and maybe the club will bring back Reguilón and he wins that situation. Arribas may fit in that category where, just because of the timeline, that like Rodrygo maybe didn't fit it, but somebody like Arribas will. So that's one name. The other name is that I feel like we forget about him as a right winger, but it's Odegaard. In that, in kind of like a David Silva, Mesut Ozil, Lionel Messi type right winger, right? Is an option. Yeah. I think Fede and Odegaard will compete with each other a lot, though. That's, I think, where the club might have to decide one or the other, but because Fede will play that fourth midfielder / right wing hybrid as well.
Well, but they can also coexist. I mean, I know that Modric is still playing good football and he's probably going to get his extension and all, but it's not like Odegaard and Fede have the same skills or like to play. Well, maybe they like to play in the same position, but I mean, their skill set are so different, and what they bring to the table is so different that they can definitely coexist. So I don't think there's a big problem there. Whereas, with Brahim and Odegaard, maybe they can bring similar things to the table, although I feel like Brahim is a little bit more offensive-minded. So about Brahim and Arribas and the comparison, I think is a good comparison, and I feel like they're similar players. But to me, what puts Brahim ahead of Arribas, obviously, I'm not talking about right now because they're different players now, and Arribas is not ready to contribute the way Brahim has contributed for Milan. They're in a different stage of their career and all that. But the thing that puts Brahim's potential and skill set a little bit ahead of what Arribas might become in the future, to me, is the versatility and his ability to play with both foot. I feel like that's very important for a player in that position, and I feel like Arribas, as great as he seems to be and as great as he might become, might not be as exciting a prospect as Brahim was because of Brahim's versatility to play in both flanks, even behind the striker, and with both his foot. Yeah.